Hey, 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 Facebook. It's me, Audra Lorraine Upchurch. I am so excited because it's been a while, right? I know it's been a while since you've seen me on live. And yeah, 2020 has been a whole lot happening. But before I go any further and talk about that, let me make sure you can hear me A-OK. So while I check from my phone, you can also comment. Give me a number one and let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me see. Yep. Okay. Cool. I just checked from my phone. You can hear me okay. All righty. Cool beans. Now, the next thing I want to do is as you guys come into the room, let me know who you are and where you're watching from, and also where I know you from. You know, I have some of the most amazing relationships that I have met from social media. And this year, with all the things that have going on, you guys have truly been there for me. And so I want you to represent, okay? Whether you are a Surge student, hashtag Surge, whether you're in our Visionary Authors Academy, hashtag Academy member, whether you're a part of one of my many anthologies, show up with your book title. Let folks know who you are and how we're connected, because relationships matter, at least to me. One thing 2020 has taught me is that you can't be transactional, even in your business. You have got to learn to develop relationships with people. And I want to thank all of you who showed up for me this year, right? Because 2020 was interesting. 2020 was interesting, right? So make sure as you guys pop in, I'm going to look from my phone too, because the comments will come through if you look above and click the link. The comments should be able to come through. So, but if I don't respond to you while I'm living, I'll definitely circle back around. Y'all know how I do, right? I'm not going to have you comment and then ignore it because I appreciate the time you spend with me. Speaking of, I'm not going to be before you long, but I wanted to come in here today and talk about what 2020 taught, not just me. I think it taught some of you some things too. Am I right? Didn't we all get our life and learn some things in 2020 about ourselves, about our families, and about our endurance? I know I'm not alone, right? If you can relate, put in the comments, I can relate. It taught us a lot. And I want to come talk about what 2020's taught us. But also, I want to kind of get into an uncomfortable conversation, but y'all know I kind of like those conversations, right? I want to get into some incredible untruths we tell ourselves. Yeah, y'all know I'm back. Somebody put in the comments, hashtag she back. So as you guys pop in, hey, is it Demond? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Demond? I'm so glad to see you. Yes, I got to do it. I got to represent. I'm always going to be me. Okay, that's one thing I'm going to give you. Always going to get Audra straight, no chaser, right? Because I love you way too much than to show up as anybody else. You know, for many of you that have been connected with me, you know, this past, I would say 18 months, man, listen, it's been something. Yes, I launched 2 books. Yes, they hit bestseller. #1, several categories, had an amazing conference that popped off, went well, all of that. But there were some other things happening, some real life things happening that many of you were so supportive of. You know, if you would have said to me, January 2019, that my family would literally be cut in half, yeah, it's something when you think about it. You know, hey, Tanya, glad to see you. Hey, Pam, glad to see you also showing up from Brooklyn. Love it, love it. And Pam knows I've known Pam for over almost 30 years now. We grew up. There was 4 of us in our household, right? It was my mom. My mom had 3 girls. I was the baby, right? I'm sure you can tell. Folks who are the youngest in the family know what I'm getting at, right? We tend to be noticeable, the baby and the crew. So my mom had 3 kids, and I was the youngest of her 3 girls. And there were 4 of us, and we were 4 strong. You know, it's interesting. I never imagined what life would be like with our family cut literally in half. I lost my sister rather quickly last year after being diagnosed with cancer, and they're telling her the cancer you have is livable. it's not terminal. And then less than 6 months later, she's gone. And then my mom, at my sister's funeral, we found out mommy was also terminal. And so we lost my mom in April. So literally in a short period of time, we went from a family of 4 to a family of 2. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something. I learned some things through the experience. Hey, Tammy Morrison, glad to see you. Shout out to my co-author showing up on the broadcast, and let the folks know what book you're a part of. Unchain Me Mama, Unchain My Legacy. Y'all showing out here. Tanya R. Moore, glad to see y'all. So, this year's taught me a lot in regard to who I am, how I show up, and what the heck I'm going to do. And one thing I am committed to do, because I promised my mama, is that I'm going to stick to the promises I've made to my audience and to my tribe. And I'm going to help as many people as I can share their stories. Because I understand firsthand why it's so important for us to not just hold these stories, but let them out. Real talk, my mama left here with a whole lot of stories, a whole lot of information, and things that I will never have answers to. Can y'all relate? Do you know someone that you were close to? And because of, Black folks, can I be real? We're taught. We don't ask questions. We don't push. We don't pry because it's disrespectful, with our seniors. So a lot of times, not only do we realize we're not being told the truth, we become co-facilitators of the untruth. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? One thing this year's taught me, y'all, we gotta take this mess off. We really do, because this life is not promised to any of us. As my mom laid there, I was flying back and forth through COVID. Most of y'all were following, I was flying back and forth to New York, y'all. But mama was dying, I had to go, right? And I remember when it got to the point where she was, she wasn't really clear. Like at some point, she wasn't even sure who I was. So I knew it was too late to get the answers that I wanted in regard to, well, what happened with my dad? I didn't find my dad didn't find out who my dad was until I was 48. And by that point, he was already gone. But I still don't know the story. I still don't know why. I still don't know why my mother decided that this man was someone that I shouldn't know. We don't have a lot of time here. Y'all may feel you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and you got all the time in the world. 2020 has taught us we don't have that kind of time. Somebody put in the comments, we don't have that kind of time. I want to see that in the comments. We don't have that kind of time. And I am so committed to helping you, and you. Yes, I'm committed to helping you get those stories out. And not just the stories, the real stories. Because see, here's the incredible untruths we tell ourselves, right? A lot of authors, how many of you watching right now have published, whether it's in an anthology, you've shared a story. I see some of my co-authors on, whether you wrote your memoir, whatever it is. How many of you have written your own personal stories and have seen it in print? If you have, just type me in the comments. Now I want to ask another question. How many of you told the real story? And I'm going to be real. I've watered down my stories for the same reason a lot of you have watered yours down. But no more. Somebody put that in the comments, no more. Because we don't do our audience any good. We don't do our tribe any good. And most importantly, we don't do ourselves any good when we don't write the real story. We think we're fooling somebody when we only put a little bit of the truth, right? We think, okay, well, we'll write it this way, though this is really not the truth, but we'll write it this way so we can protect folks, right? But we're not protecting anybody. But I will say this, y'all, and this is something that I've had to go through my own process and learn. See, I'm talking to y'all from my own experience and what I know. And let me preface it by saying this, okay? Can you give me a second? Let me preface it by saying this. Yes, I have been a part of 6 anthologies. Absolutely. Best-selling anthologies, pat myself on the back, all of that. But when I talk to you about being an author, when I talk to you about being a writer and about getting your whole author life, it's from my 30-year experience. It's from my experience being a bookstore manager in 3 different stores in New York City. It's from my experience of working for book distributors. It's from my experience from sitting down, having conversations with buyers, not from the standpoint of a customer, but from a coworker and a peer, and getting the real deal of what they think about the books that are in print. You with me? If you're tracking, put in the comments tracking. I'm tracking, Audra. So when I talk with you guys about your books, when I talk with you about your stories, it's from that perspective. Okay? And no shade to anyone who started their business in writing and publishing just from the experience of this online digital space. But I bring to the table a little bit more than that. And so because of that, I think you expect a little bit more from me. Is that correct? And I'm good with that. Okay. So I want you right now, every single one of you. Hey, Apostle April, glad to see you. Hey, Sabrina, glad to see you also. I want you guys right now to hit the button and share this broadcast. So I'm about to drop some stuff on you real quick. I've been gone for a while, y'all, but I'm back. So I want you to hit the share button and share this broadcast out. And then I want you to put in the comments that you've shared. Because many of you know, I started my online business from somebody sharing information with me. So I understand the power of the share. I'm a result of the share. I found my business coach because somebody shared her broadcast. So I recognize the power, and I also recognize that you're on here on purpose. Y'all, yeah, 2020 has taught us a lot. Okay? You are on this broadcast right now on purpose. Share the broadcast, because what you're getting is for you, but there's somebody else that's out there waiting to get it too. Okay? Just like I was 4 years ago. And I'm thankful. I don't even know who shared the broadcast, but whoever that person was on Periscope, thank you, because it has totally changed my life. And because that person shared that broadcast over 4 years ago, I was able to fly back and forth and see my mama. Not have to worry about taking no time off of work, begging the boss to let me off, rearranging schedules and trading time with coworkers. I had to do none of that. Okay? So yes, the power of a share is real. Okay? I tell you, I speak from my experience. Not because it's in the script and somebody told me to say it. Okay? Now, there's some, thank you, Sabrina, for sharing. Thank you, Tanya, for sharing. Thank you, Pamela, for sharing. I so appreciate you guys. Because here's the thing. It's time as authors that we get our whole author life together. It is time we get our whole author life together. Somebody put that in the comments. Get our whole author life together. You know, writing your story is not just about you. And y'all have heard me say that before. It's not. Can we move our egos to the side just a little bit? Just a little bit, like scoot it over just a little bit. Okay. It's your story, but it's so much more bigger than that. And too many authors are left disappointed after they pour their heart and soul out on paper. They're left disappointed because they didn't get the result they wanted. But I want to ask you to take a step back and be honest with yourself when you wrote the story. Were you sharing the true story? That's not a rhetorical question. I want y'all to, published authors, I want you to respond. Not a rhetorical question. When you wrote the story, were you writing the true story? And from my experience and my community and my membership, a lot of times I talk to authors and they share the safe story because, one, they feel they have to protect folks, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. I get about the whole protecting thing, but it's also because they really didn't know any other way to write it. You know, there are tools and things, strategies you can put into place to tell a difficult story without losing the meat of the story and still not destroy the people that you love. There is a way to do that. But unfortunately, in this whole self-publishing space, and I'm going to be real, in this self-publishing space, because it's so easy to self-publish, most people feel that there's no reason to be taught. They feel they can go on Google and Google all the answers, or they'll just wing it and see what happens. Come on, can anybody, be honest with that? So one of the things I've been mulling this over back and forth since I left New York, and the folks in my community, in my academy, Visionary Authors Academy, have heard me talk about this. We've been waiting on this for weeks, that I was going to put together a boot camp to just really hone in on the writing skill portion, but recognizing my avatar, she like me, she a little rough around the edges, right? A lot of times she doesn't share the fullness of her story because of the pain in the story. So I've put together a boot camp with expert writing coaches, okay? Folks got PhDs and all kind of letters behind their names, right? Some mindset coaches, because I would be remiss if I didn't recognize the difficulty in sharing our personal stories. And y'all have heard me say this before. I'm not a therapist, nor do I play one on TV, okay? Not a therapist, nor do I play one on TV, right? But I recognize the need. I recognize the importance of having folks who are educated in that space show up and support my tribe. So we are putting together a 30-day, and y'all know I ain't got a lot of time, but I'm committed. Y'all know I'm the queen of the short challenge, right? The short 3-day challenge. Y'all know I don't do them long challenges, right? But because I understand what's required, I recognize we can't skimp on this thing. For you to get what you really need, for you to finally tell that story that needs to be told the way it should be told to impact your audience the way you truly want it to, we got to put the time in. So there's a team. There's 5 of us, y'all. There's a team. It's myself with writing coaches and mindset coaches. And we're going to take you through a boot camp. And I use the term boot camp because I am prior Army, whether y'all realize it or not. I have been through boot camp. I know what that feels like. And that's what this is going to be. Okay? It's a 30-day boot camp that we are starting September 1st. Because I'm keeping my promise to my mama. Period. And I'm going to help as many authors as I can share the true story, the real story, the story that's going to help their reader, the story that's going to change their life, the story that's going to help them solidify their author enterprise. I am committed. I'm committed. Somebody put in the comments, she's committed, y'all. I'm committed. My mama passed, but I don't want to say I lost her because I gained so much. I gained so much from that experience and understanding who I am and my place in this world. I'm clear. I'm clear. I'm clear who I'm here to serve. I'm clear how I'm here to serve them. And I'm clear that all you got to do is show up. And let me show you how clear I am. Y'all know I turned 51 a couple of weeks ago, right? Did y'all know? Well, because I turned 51 and I was ill, I've been sick most of 2020. Did y'all realize that too, right? Y'all got my email that I sent out a couple of days ago? I was sick. Pretty much all this year I've been sick. Like, can't move, can't breathe, can't think. And it wasn't even COVID. I probably could have made sense of it if it was COVID. They don't even know what was wrong with me, right? So because I couldn't celebrate my birthday the way I normally would in Audra fashion, I'm going to celebrate with you. And we have worked really hard, like really hard. And I pulled my MBA and my accounting degree in place to make this boot camp as reasonable as possible. So we are launching this boot camp, y'all. Y'all ready? $5.10. $5.10. Because this chick here turned 51. $5.10 for a 30-day boot camp. I'm gonna sip on my tea. Shout out to Jay Stone. I'm gonna just let y'all read that. Oh, here comes my cough. That's my sign. That's my time. I need to go. So I'm gonna bring up this little banner here. When you see the ticker on the screen, let me know you see it. And it's real simple. $5.10 for 30 days with me. Business mindset coaches, writing coaches, and I mean, these folks have their PhDs. One of our coaches is a professor and teaches writing on the college level. We are not skimping on this thing. We are bringing you experts. The mindset coaches that we are bringing are not people who woke up one day and decided they wanted to help somebody. These are folks who went to school and have a background and got letters behind their name. We are not playing. And we have, y'all don't understand. I'm committed. $5.10. Thank you, Pam. You see it. Thank you, Tanya. You see it. So the website for you to be a part of our 30-day boot camp is get.yourauthorlife.com. 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 Because we're going to help you get your author life. And I'm going to go to my notes. Because I want to make sure that you're clear on what this experience is going to be. Every single day, you're going to have accountability. You're going to have support. You're going to have clarity. You're going to have challenges. Some you're going to like, some you ain't. That's a boot camp for you, right? A boot camp, you don't always like what's happening, but you still got to do it. So, I ain't been coughing in 2 weeks, and now here it comes from this live. Yes, the chant, Pam. Yes, the chant. So, if you've said you were going to write all year and you haven't done it yet, or if you started writing, you stopped writing, you started writing, you stopped writing, or if you're like, got these kids in the house, I don't have time, I want to do it, but I'm not sure if I can, or if you're committed and you just know that this right now is your time, go to get.yourauthorlife.com. Thank you, Aria, for subscribing. I'm committed. Can you imagine waking up on October 1st and your manuscript is complete? Can you imagine? See, not only are we going to help you through the writing process, we're going to make sure that you're clear on when your manuscript is complete. What are some of the best practices to submit your manuscript to an editor? What kind of questions should I be asking an editor? We're going to take each week. We have it all planned out. We're going to have a private, exclusive community where we bring you into and we love on you and we support you every single day. Yes, Robin. Glad to see you on, Robin. Absolutely. So I'm telling you guys, this is an amazing experience that we're going to have together. And I'm just so excited for so many of you. Folks have been in my inbox from the membership group because I told them about this a few weeks ago. But I wanted to make sure that when I showed up, that first and foremost, I was well. Again, I've been sick most of 2020. And I'm learning to give from my overflow. How many of y'all understand that? I'm learning to give from my overflow. And now I know I'm ready. And I have an amazing team of experts, writing coaches, mindset coaches, to help you extract the true story that you've been meaning to tell. Because see, some of you, you've been sitting on your story, not for the reason you think you have. Because see, if you had written it 6 months ago, if you had written it a year ago, it wouldn't have been the real story. You wouldn't have had the tools you needed to tell the story the way it should have been told. So stop beating yourself up because you didn't hit the publishing deadline. Stop beating yourself up because this has been on your list of to-dos for the past 5 years. Understand things happen when they're supposed to happen. They happen when they're supposed to happen, the way they're supposed to happen. So give yourself that grace. The program is September 1st through 30th, $5.10. Tanya, you've been with me for many years. Have I ever offered anything for $5.10? But this is my way of celebrating turning 51 with you. I have crunched the numbers. I have did all that I can. Now it requires you to take action. And y'all already know I'm going with this, right? Hashtag action takers win, right? So sign up, invite a friend, or do like they do in Starbucks. Do like they do in Starbucks. Buy 2 tickets. Buy 2 enrollments, and then send us the name of the second person. You know how Starbucks, they pay for their coffee, and then they say, I'll pay for the car behind me. For $5.10, you can afford to do that, right? So that cousin, sister, brother, auntie that you know has an amazing story, but needs that support. I have friends in my age group that they know their mothers have an amazing story, but their moms need some hand holding, right? This is the time. This is that time. So grab your seat, help a friend, $5.10. I think we can do this together and get the support you need. You're going to have technical support. You're going to have emotional support. And you're also going to have marketing support. Like, we're going to cover all the bases for you in these 30 days so that by the end of your 30 days, you'll be positioned to have your manuscript completed. How does that sound to you guys? Who is excited? Who is excited? You know, 2020 can end with you being a published author. 2020 can end with you telling the real story. The real story. What is that story that you have had buried in so long? I had a young woman reach out to me who had been in jail. And most of the people in her circle had no idea that she was a felon. And there's a story she wants to share, but she's so terrified of what her folks on Facebook are going to think, what her coworkers are going to think, what her boo thang going to think. And we had a session and strategized and came up with some concrete solutions for her to be able to tell the story and still be able to protect those that she loves, including herself. And all of that without taking away the power of the story. The only person that can remove the power of your story is you. So join us in the boot camp. Learn the skills, 30 days. Get the support, 30 days. And position yourself to walk away with your completed manuscript at the end of the 30 days. Get.yourauthorlife.com. Get.yourauthorlife.com. Check out the link and we will see you in the community. I am Audra Lorraine Upchurch, your master anthologist, and super duper excited to spend these 30 days going deep into your story in the Get Your Author Life Bootcamp. Love you guys. Bye.